Every time I pray, the neighbor's dog starts calling my name, not barking, but my full name.
Augustine.
My name is Uma. I'm 19 years old and a university student. I rent my own apartment because I'm a student, so I only go home to my parents during holidays. My family is Christian, raised entirely in the ways and teachings of Christ. In fact, I am a very devout Christian and have always been. Everyone in my department knows I am completely steadfast in my faith in Christ. But something strange happened when a new neighbor moved into the apartment. She brought a dog with her, not even a local breed, but a German Shepherd. But that's not my business. She knocked on my door and said we should be friends. She's probably around 20, likely a student too. I nodded. Okay, no problem, we'll be friends. She wanted to come into my house. I just made up an excuse and she didn't come in. But one night, I woke up in the middle of the night to pray as usual. While praying in my room, there was a noise outside. I woke up and heard someone calling my name. I peeked and saw the dog facing me. I closed the window. That morning, I went to meet my new neighbor. Did you call my name last night at midnight? My neighbor looked at me in surprise and laughed. Call your name? At midnight? If I needed help, I would have knocked on your door. I went to ask another neighbor if they had heard anyone call my name at night. No, I didn't hear your name, Uma. I told you not to watch horror movies anymore. You might be thinking about that kind of thing. I just laughed and went inside. I sat on the plastic chair, sweating profusely despite the cool morning breeze. I tried to open my textbook for my engineering class, but the words kept jumping around. I remembered when the new owner moved in. Her name was Cynthia. She had lots of boxers, but the dog wasn't in a cage. It walked beside her like a human. It didn't even sniff the ground like the other dogs. It just stared intently at the other tenants' doors. Uma, you're overthinking things, I whispered to myself. I took a deep breath and decided to pray a little before I started reading. Lord, grant me the wisdom to understand this chapter. I remembered what my Sunday school teacher used to say about the spiritual battle. I grabbed the Bible and clutched it to my chest. I wanted to run outside and scream, but I was afraid people would think I'd watched too many movies. If I started yelling that a dog was talking to me, they'd definitely call my parents to take me to a mental hospital. The neighbors said they didn't hear my name that midnight, but I could hear my name and it sounded like this neighbor's dog. But did that really make sense? A talking dog? If I tell my mother, she'll be terrified, not because the dog is calling my name, but because she'll think I've been drugged to the point of losing my mind. Who is this new neighbor and her strange dog? Why do I hear my full name every time I pray?
Uma. Augustine.
The neighbor's new dog would call out my full name whenever I prayed. It remained a mystery. In my 19 years of life, I'd never seen anything like it. I tried to concentrate on my studies, but it was difficult. My classmate Kioma came to visit me to work on a school project. We were both studying engineering, and the workload was heavy. Because it was late and commuting was difficult, she decided to sleep over.
Uma, your room is so quiet. No wonder you're always the best in class. Nothing distracts you. It is quiet, Chioma. But sometimes the night has its own sounds.
Remembering that the neighbor's dog would call out my full name, I started praying every midnight. I wanted to be sure. I wanted to know if I was really out of my mind, or if this dog was a demon in cat form. That night, around 1:30 a.m., I woke up to pray. The room was pitch black, with only a little light from the streetlights outside. I knelt beside the bed and began to whisper.
Father, I thank you for today. I cover this room with the blood of blood.
Immediately, I heard the terrifying sound of the dog. It was right under my window.
Uma. Augustine.
My skin crawled. It didn't sound like a dog at all. It sounded like an old man trying to speak. I looked at Kioma. She was snoring softly. It seemed I was the only one who heard. As my classmate hadn't even gotten up, she hadn't even turned, I continued to pray, my voice trembling. The more I prayed, the more the dog growled my name. It was as if the dog was in pain because of what I said. Finally, the dog let out a long, human-like whimper and left. I couldn't sleep until dawn. The next morning, the sun was blazing, but the air was heavy. Kioma sat up and tried to stand, but she screamed, "Ow! My leg!" I rushed to her. "What happened? Did you fall?" My classmate stood up and saw a large red scar on her left leg. It was shaped like a strange tooth. "Ah, what's this?" Kioma cried, touching the edge of the wound. "Uma, I don't get this when I sleep. It's burning me." I tried to remain calm so she wouldn't panic. "Maybe it's because of your sleeping position," I told her. "Perhaps your leg got pressed against the metal edge of the bed frame." But deep down, I knew it was a lie. The bed frame was very smooth. "My sleeping position?" Chioma asked, her eyes wide with fear. "Did the bed frame bite anyone?" "Uma, this looks like a bite mark. A very big one." I helped her wash her leg, but I was thinking about the dog. The funny thing was, the dog hadn't bitten anyone since it came to this neighborhood. I'd never seen it bark during the day, let alone bite anyone. All the neighbors said the dog was gentle and well-behaved. When Kioma left, we saw our neighbor Cynthia outside. She was grooming her dog. The dog looked at Kioma's bandaged leg and wagged its tail happily. Cynthia looked at us and smiled. "Oh, your friend had an accident?" Cynthia asked. Her voice was unbelievably sweet, like honey mixed with poison. "The neighborhood can be very slippery at night. You must be careful when walking around, especially when everyone is busy." Kioma said nothing. She just hurried out the gate. I stood there, watching the dog. It looked back at me, and for a moment, I thought I saw it wink. Why does it bark every time I pray? What does the red scar on my friend's leg mean? At 1:30 that night, I prayed again, and the neighbor's dog kept mysteriously mentioning my full name. Even the next morning, a strange red scar appeared on my classmate who slept over. She was shocked when she left my house, but I decided to reassure her that it was probably just her sleeping position. After Kioma left, the neighborhood became very quiet. I was in my room, trying to read my engineering textbook, but my mind was elsewhere. I kept thinking about that red scar. It didn't seem like a mistake. It looked like a mark of ownership. That afternoon, I heard a loud knock on the door. It was the food delivery. Then I heard the sweet, clear voice of Cynthia, my new neighbor.
Hello, everyone. Neighbors, come out.
I peeked through the curtains. Cynthia had a huge pot and many plates of takeout food. She was sharing her food with all the other tenants in the apartment building. Mr. Benson was there with a large spoon, walking and smiling.
Oh, Cynthia, you're so sweet. This jollof rice smells like heaven.
This is just my way of thanking you for your hospitality.
She gave a big smile, but her German shepherd, Rex, was sitting right next to her. The dog wasn't looking at the food. It was looking toward the door. Finally, she came to my door. I peeked through the crack. "Hi, Uma, I saved the best part for you." "Lots of chicken and fried plantains," she said, holding out the plate. I looked at the food. It looked delicious, but my gut told me no. Remembered the voice from the middle of the night. I remembered Kioma's leg. "Thanks, Cynthia, but I'm fine. I just finished eating," I said softly. Cynthia's smile faded slightly. Her eyes were cold for a moment. Ma, why are you always against me? I thought you said we were friends." I shook my head. "We are friends, Cynthia. But I don't usually beg from strangers like that. My house has enough food. Please, give it to someone else." Cynthia stepped closer. Rex the dog also stood up. "A stranger? But we live in the same neighborhood, Uma. Don't be so saintly. It's just rice." "I'm sorry. I really can't," I said and slowly closed the door. I heard her stand there for a while, then they left. That night, when I went to sleep, I was a little scared, but not panicked. I knew I had to be strong. At exactly midnight, I woke up. I mustered all my courage. I thought I would hear that hoarse voice calling Uma Augustine again. I began to pray. Lord, protect me. Encircle this room with your fire. I waited, I listened. I prayed for 30 minutes, and for the first time I didn't hear any name calls. I felt somewhat relieved. Maybe it's given up, I thought. Finally, I drifted off into a deep sleep. When the sun rose that morning, I jumped out of bed to wash my face. But, oh my God, everywhere there were thick black and brown hairs. It was dog hair, scattered all over my room. I looked at the door. It was still locked from the inside. I looked at the window. It was closed. How did these hairs get into my room? They smelled like wet dog. I was shocked what was going on. Why did the dog stop calling my name, only for its fur to appear in my locked room?
Mom, I'm serious. Chioma even got bruises on her backside after sleeping here. I'm so scared.
Oh my God, you have to leave that house immediately. You can't stay there another night.
I woke up, relieved that the neighbor's dog hadn't called my name. But when I got to the bathroom, I saw a lot of dog hair mysteriously scattered on my floor. I didn't tell the neighbor, silently throwing the hairs into the trash can. My hands trembled as I swept them up. The smell was like something decomposing. I knew this wasn't normal. For the first time, I decided to call my mother.
Mom, something's wrong in this house. The neighbor's dog, it called my name when I prayed. And this morning, I found its hair in my locked room.
My mother shrieked, unable to believe it, even though she was also the pastor of our church.
Uma, what are you saying? A dog calling your name? Are you sure you weren't overstudying?
Mom, I'm serious. Chioma even got bruises on her backside after sleeping here. I'm so scared.
Oh my God, you have to leave that house immediately. You can't stay there another night.
She started contacting the church pastor to find another place to stay. Even though my rent wasn't finished yet, my safety was paramount. That afternoon, the church pastor, Pastor Jerry, called me.
Uma, your mother has told me everything. This is a serious spiritual matter. We're looking for a room, possibly in the nuns' quarters, for you. Please pack your small belongings first.
Thank you, Pastor. I'll start packing tonight.
That night, I busied myself packing my clothes into a suitcase. I was exhausted from stress and cried, sitting on my bed for a while. I didn't pray at midnight. I was too tired and unconsciously drifted off to sleep. Then I heard a very loud voice. I didn't even know if it was a dream. The room was as cold as a freezer. Uma, don't leave this house until you've finished your studies, the voice said. It wasn't a human voice. It was heavy and dark. You think you're so strong, don't you? We'll fight this battle together. If you leave this house, you'll lose your life. No, God can save you. In that dream, I looked up and saw the dog, but it was much bigger. It was clearly speaking. Its eyes blazed like embers, its teeth long as knives. It stood on two legs like a human, but had the head of a German shepherd. Why did you do this? I tried to shout in the dream, but my voice choked. You disturbed our peace with your prayers, the creature said, leaning close to my face. Now you are our prisoner, stay or die. Then I woke up. I was drenched in sweat, my heart was pounding like a drum. I frantically switched on the light. I saw the pile of dog fur again. It was piled right in front of my suitcase. I collapsed onto the floor and started crying. The dog was telling me I shouldn't leave this house. Why? What did it want from me?
If you run away, you will not live.
You say your God is powerful, don't you, God? Let's see how this battle unfolds.
That morning, I woke up in a daze, and again saw dog hair on the floor. I sat on the bed for a long time, staring at the black strands of hair. My heart was heavy. I quickly grabbed my phone and called my parents. This time, my father answered. He was a man of strong faith. I told him about the dream and the dog's threat. My father understood the devil's scheme and advised me not to run away.
Uma, do not run away. The enemy uses fear to make you surrender before the battle even begins.
And
If that creature says you will die if you leave, then we must stand firm and fight with prayer. Don't leave that house. Stay there.
He called my church's pastor and made an offer. They decided we shouldn't fight alone.
we'll bring the church to your door.
Pastor Jerry told me over the phone. Several groups in my college church agreed to hold evangelistic meetings or community gatherings at our apartment complex. They also promised to share some snacks, at least to bring everyone closer together. We wanted to fill the campus with the Lord's presence. The following afternoon, we found Cynthia outside. She was sitting on a bench, and her dog sat at her feet like a king. I approached her with the two sisters from the church. "Good afternoon, Cynthia," I said, trying to keep my voice from trembling. "My school's community group wants to start holding small evening prayer and hymn sessions here on campus. We'll even bring snacks and drinks for everyone. We want everyone to have fun," we asked Cynthia, but she remained silent. She stared at us for a long time. Her eyes were very dark. "I'm not a Christian," she finally said. "I don't believe in any gods. I don't think I want any noise in this courtyard." I looked at her and remembered her expression when I refused her jollof rice. I decided to use her own words. "Oh, Cynthia," I said, mimicking her voice. "It's just going to church. Or aren't we friends? I thought you said we should be friends and get to know each other better." Cynthia's face flushed. She looked annoyed, but couldn't refuse because the other neighbors had come out to see what was going on. "Okay," she mumbled. "Do whatever you want." Cynthia went into her room and slammed the door shut. The first day began, and the students in the group brought a small loudspeaker and some meat pies. They sang hymns praising God very loudly. Some neighbors went out, some didn't. Mr. Benson went out to eat his meat pies and clapped, but Cynthia stayed inside. The dog was nowhere to be seen. But that night, after everyone had left, the neighborhood was very dark. I decided to wash the dishes to make sure everything was clean. My kitchen window overlooked the backyard. As I was washing dishes, I heard a small buzzing sound. I looked through the window and saw a shadow near the large mango tree. My eyes widened. I saw a woman bowing her head before a dog. The dog was sitting on a high rock, looking very proud. "This is Cynthia," I whispered to myself, bowing before her dog. "This is the proof I need." I quickly grabbed the phone on the table. My heart pounded. I opened the camera and took a picture of her. The flash wasn't on, so I'm sure she didn't see me. I saw the photo was saved in my photo gallery. Cynthia was kneeling, forehead touching the ground, before the German Shepherd. I went to bed feeling like I'd won. Tomorrow, I'll show everyone her true colors, I thought. The next morning, the first thing I did was pick up my phone. I wanted to look at the photo again. But when I checked, I saw myself bowing before the dog. In the photo, the person kneeling wasn't Cynthia, it was me. It was Uma, wearing the same clothes I wore last night, bowing before that cruel dog. Why was my face in that photo? I saw my new neighbor bowing to her dog at midnight. I tried to take a picture as proof. But that morning, I saw myself in the video bowing to the dog. My heart pounded, and I rushed to church to see Pastor Jerry. I showed him my phone, but when he looked at it, he didn't see anything unusual.
Uma, I only saw you in the backyard. Perhaps you're just tired, and your eyes are playing tricks on you. My advice is to ignore it. Don't let the devil distract you with fear. We'll continue with today's meeting as planned.
But Pastor, the dog hair in my room?
Keep praying, Uma. God is in control.
I returned home, feeling incredibly heavy-hearted. I didn't even know Cynthia had secretly gone behind my back to complain to the building manager. She'd told him she didn't want to see us socializing at all. That afternoon, the manager, a tall man named Mr. Vincent, called a meeting in the building. Most people were there.
I heard someone complained about the noise.
Yes, sir. We're students, we need to study, the singing is too loud.
But we love socializing. They even give us snacks. That's a good thing for this club.
Unfortunately, nearly 90% of the club members were participating in the new socializing. So they sided with me. Mr. Vincent stroked his chin and looked at us. Okay, since so many people want it, you can go ahead, he decided. But they also told us not to use microphones, to avoid noise pollution. Keep the volume low. Cynthia said nothing, just glared at me and walked away with her dog. That night, we prayed together again. This time, we didn't use loudspeakers, but the fire in our hearts burned brightly. We prayed fervently, we chanted, Holy Spirit, and may our enemies be scattered. The German Shepherd sat by Cynthia's door, just looking at us with its red-rimmed eyes. It didn't bark a single word. The next morning, the whole neighborhood was eerily silent, too silent. I went outside to hang up my towels and saw Mr. Benson leaning against the door, his face pale. Good morning, Mr. Benson. Are you all right? I asked. Uma, my daughter, I don't know, he whispered. My head was spinning, my whole body was trembling. I went to the house next door, and the situation was exactly the same. Several of my neighbors, even those who participated in community activities, were sick. They had high fevers and were vomiting. Then I saw Cynthia's door open. She staggered out, clutching her stomach. She looked very weak, and her skin was yellowish. Cynthia was sick too. I was very confused. I kept wondering, why did they suddenly get sick like this? I even thought that Cynthia had used her evil power to harm them. But she was sick too. Even her dog was lying on the floor, gasping for breath as if it had a fever. Was this just a natural illness, or was there something else? Why didn't the dog call my name in the middle of the night anymore?
My darling, what have they done to you? Who did this to you?
For the first time, the strange dog that usually called my name every midnight suddenly lay helpless and injured on the floor that morning. My neighbors had also been mysteriously ill for the past few days. Initially, I wanted to blame our new neighbor, Cynthia, but she was also sick. But my parents came over. That day, my father secretly poured holy oil on the strange dog. And the next morning, the dog was severely injured. Cynthia could only cry when she saw her dog's condition. She sat on the dirty floor in the backyard, hugging the dog's head to her chest.
My darling, what have they done to you? Who did this to you?
I said nothing. I just went inside. My father was sitting in his chair, his face very serious.
Dad, Cynthia is crying. She's asking who hurt her dog.
My father opened the Bible and read a passage from a psalm.
The fire of the Lord does not ask permission before it consumes the thorns. My daughter, let it weep. The battle has only just begun.
That night was war. We heard a great wind. I guess only we heard it. It sounded as if a giant was trying to tear off the roof of my house. The windows rattled. We held hands in a circle. My mother spoke in tongues, her whole body trembling.
All the power of the dogs, burn! All the altars of darkness in this area, burn!
At one point, my father coughed, a dry, painful cough, as if something was trying to strangle him to stop him from praying. But he didn't stop. He struggled through the cough and began to shout even louder.
You cannot stop the word of the Lord! Release the people immediately!
We prayed until 4 a.m. Suddenly, the strong wind stopped. The neighborhood became so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. The next morning, All the neighbors were healthy and recovered. Mr. Benson was the first to come out. He stretched and smiled. Uma, my daughter. I woke up feeling light as a bird. The fever is gone, he shouted. The other neighbors also started coming out. But Cynthia ran out and started knocking on our door. She was no longer the pretty college student she once was. She was crying, her clothes were tattered, and she was trembling. We opened the door and she yelled, "Okay, now I'll confess."
Tell the truth and set everyone free. Who are you? And what is your purpose in this house?
Early that morning, Cynthia emerged from the house in a frenzied state, declaring she would confess. She tore at her hair and screamed hysterically. Her eyes rolled back, and she collapsed right in front of my father. The entire neighborhood was now awake.
I can't take it anymore. The fire is too big.
Tell the truth and set everyone free. Who are you? And what is your purpose in this house?
I came here deliberately to drain the life of everyone in this compound. I was sent from the kingdom of the sea. The dog you see isn't a dog. It's my husband from the spirit world. We moved into this apartment to eliminate everyone one by one. We want to turn this place into a graveyard.
So you're the one who wanted us? Even after you gave us the food?
The food was meant to weaken your souls. But Uma's prayers have been stopping me all this time. They tried their best, but to no avail. Every time that girl started praying, my husband would call her name to frighten her. We wanted her to stop. We tried to mark her friend to show our power, but she kept calling the name of God.
She looked at me with dark tears in her eyes. Your God is too powerful, Uma. We tried to enter your room to destroy you, but we only found the floor covered in dog hair because that soul was being beaten by invisible hands. We told you not to leave because we wanted to trap you, but your father brought a bigger fire. The dog on the floor let out one last heavy whimper and suddenly turned into a dry log. As soon as the dog's soul left the log, Cynthia collapsed. She had no strength left. Her source of evil power had vanished. She has harmed many people elsewhere, and whoever uses darkness to harm others will die in darkness. The neighborhood became very quiet and peaceful. The heavy darkness that had enveloped the house for weeks finally dissipated. My father led us in one last prayer of thanksgiving. The neighbors were finally free. They all came to hug me and thank my parents. No more strange voices in the middle of the night. No more mysterious illnesses. Finally, I returned to my room, knelt down, and for the first time in a long time, I prayed without hearing anyone call my name.
My darling, what have they done to you? Who did this to you?
For the first time, the strange dog that usually called my name every midnight suddenly lay helpless and injured on the floor that morning. My neighbors had also been mysteriously ill for the past few days. Initially, I wanted to blame our new neighbor, Cynthia, but she was also sick. But my parents came over. That day, my father secretly poured holy oil on the strange dog, and the next morning, the dog was severely injured. Cynthia could only cry when she saw her dog's condition. She sat on the dirty floor in the backyard, hugging the dog's head to her chest.
My darling, what have they done to you? Who did this to you?
I said nothing. I just went inside. My father was sitting in his chair, his face very serious.
Dad, Cynthia is crying. She's asking who hurt her dog.
My father opened the Bible and read a passage from a psalm.
The fire of the Lord does not ask permission before it consumes the thorns. My daughter, let it weep. The battle has only just begun.
That night was war. We heard a great wind. I guess only we heard it. It sounded as if a giant was trying to tear off the roof of my house. The windows rattled. We held hands in a circle. My mother spoke in tongues, her whole body trembling.
All the power of the dogs, burn! All the altars of darkness in this area, burn!
At one point, my father coughed, a dry, painful cough, as if something was trying to strangle him to stop him from praying. But he didn't stop. He struggled through the cough and began to shout even louder.
You cannot stop the word of the Lord! Release the people immediately!
We prayed until 4 a.m. Suddenly, the strong wind stopped. The neighborhood became so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. The next morning, all the neighbors were healthy and recovered. Mr. Benson was the first to come out. He stretched and smiled. Uma, my daughter. I woke up feeling light as a bird. The fever is gone, he shouted. The other neighbors also started coming out. But Cynthia ran out and started knocking on our door. She was no longer the pretty college student she once was. She was crying, her clothes were tattered, and she was trembling. We opened the door and she yelled, "Okay, now I'll confess.